This is Trent. Sorry I missed your call. Please leave your name and number. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Please Don't Call Me podcast, where Alex and I talk almost weekly. Life's busy, folks, so things are happening around here. We're trying. Things are happening at a very fast pace in our world, so we're trying for weekly, but we have plenty to talk about. It's just the time with which to talk about such things. So that's a big deal. But anyway, thanks for joining us today. We are thrilled to be talking. Hi, Alex. It's good to talk with you again. How are you?
I'm good.
How are we feeling?
I'm feeling a lot better. I would even say normal.
Really?
Yes. Yeah. I still have a few moments where certain foods smell or look weird to me, but overall, I am living a pretty normal life.
Good. Back to some form of normalcy. That's good.
Yes.
Where are we? We alerted everyone last time we talked that each week we would give an update based on an app that you have that you can give multiple ways of seeing the size of your baby.
Right.
You chose the fruit or edible items, I guess. You chose food or fruit?
It's usually fruits or veggies.
Yeah. Fruits or veggies. So just give us a build up to where we've been so we can get an idea of where we're going.
Yeah. So last week we were the size of a pear. I believe that's what we said on our last recording. And then this week I'm 16 weeks and the baby is the size of an avocado.
Avocado.
So about 5 inches long at the most, probably, and weighs about 3 to 4 ounces. So we're getting close to where hopefully I'll be able to feel her moving a little more soon. Nice. I have moments where I think I feel something, but I'm not completely confident. But hopefully they say between 17 and 20 weeks you start to feel it. So I'm excited, but she is starting to make her presence known. My stomach is definitely starting to stick out a little bit, which is weird. And sometimes I forget, you're in the middle of stuff. Actually, when I was coming in to record today, I looked down for a second and I was like, oh yeah. I was like, why is my stomach so big? Because there's an avocado in there. But
are you knocking things over yet?
No, not yet.
You become a bull in a china closet? No?
Yeah, but I am at the point where my coworkers won't let me lift things.
Oh, wow.
They walk in the room and I'm trying to lift a box and they're like, stop.
I'm flying in. Nice.
But I have my energy back. I want to get stuff done. I have like the spring cleaning energy. Just so it's hard to stop me nowadays. But
wow, that's good to hear. Well, good. Baby avocado.
Mm-hmm.
I like it.
Yeah. So about 4 months down, 16 weeks, 4 months, give or take. So about 5 to go.
Okay.
Crazy. We're almost halfway there.
Exciting news. And you were about to go on spring break, right?
Yes.
Does that start we're recording on a Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
You go on spring break on Friday?
Yes. So tomorrow after school, I'll run home really quick, grab my suitcase, and we're going to the beach. So I'm very excited.
What beach? Be specific. We don't want paparazzi showing up.
Yeah.
Bothering you while you're at your beach, but where are you going?
That's something funny about the South is like we grew up saying we're going to Florida or we're going to Boca Raton for spring break or we're going to Disney or we're going to Murrells Inlet, South Carolina, like very specific. Yeah. Here, people just say they're going to the beach all the time. It's just like, oh, we're going to, I had never like heard it. If like you live where you live by the beach, so you say, yeah, I'm going to the beach, but people here even say it like it's just the beach. And I'm like, well, which one? And my students are always like, I don't know. But
so where do you go to the beach from Athens, Georgia?
Well, mostly Florida, but there's options in South Carolina and a little bit in Georgia.
Savannah, down by Savannah.
Yeah, Savannah, Jekyll Island. Yeah, there's a couple of things down there, but we are going to St. Augustine.
Nice. So. That's Florida, everybody.
Yes. I've never been there, so I'm excited.
Oldest city in North America, right? Or something like that. Oldest, yeah.
Yeah, it's the old. I don't know if it's all of North America, but it's definitely one of the oldest cities. I don't know if it's in the
Well,
South. It
this
could be.
podcast is full of untruths. So
Yeah,
we are going to,
that's what the comments are for. People can tell
yeah,
us.
as far as I know, it's the oldest city in the world.
We'll take
Like
it.
there was and then there was St. Augustine. That's how old it
Running
is.
parallel to each other.
Yep. Yeah. If you look at a timeline, there's and then right behind that, St. Augustine. So I think that's true. I just said a word, untruth. I think I'm gonna separate those two words as much as possible. So like unkempt. Does anybody ever say I'm kempt? I'm gonna start. Instead of
Oh,
saying
I'm Kempt.
I'm kempt. Instead
No,
of
it's
unkempt.
no. I've definitely heard unkempt. I don't think I've ever heard somebody say something is kempt.
I know. I'm gonna start. So what
Oh,
are
my
some
hair
other
looks so kempt
what are
today. Man, you put me on the spot here. You're trying to think of words that have and never
yeah.
are never used otherwise. Unruly.
I'm unruly is one. I'm gonna be ruly. I'm just gonna start being ruly and I'm gonna say it out loud.
If you said that in a conversation completely out of context, like I'm feeling very ruly today, I I would think I'm having a stroke. Like I would have no clue what you're trying to say.
Yeah. Unsteady. I'm going to be steady. Now that one's used
Yeah. I was gonna say
quite often.
unbridled. Do you ever say
I'm going to be bridled.
unbridled passion?
No, I have very bridled passions. In fact, you could ask Natalie. That's top top five character trait for
All your
me
passions were bridled.
is I'm bridled. All of my passions are absolutely bridled. That's a good one. Unbridled. What else? What other words can I?
Well, don't people say like unearthly?
Yes, that's a good one. That's an unearthly thing. I'm going to say that is very earthly. I'm looking right outside right now at my bougainvillea. I have an earthly bougainvillea. Here's one. Things are starting to unravel. Do they ever ravel? Does anybody ever take the time to say something ravels?
Can you ravel that
Sure.
string for me?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this is me. Uncommon. I'm totally common. So that's easy.
Un-
Unlimited. Not me. Very limited. No problem being limited. I refuse to be, I'm not going to go unlimited. I'm going to be unlimited. I'm going to be limited. Okay. Uh, Here's another one. We're always waiting for things to unfold. How about we wait around and see if something might fold? I think that would be good. Have you ever seen anything
Sounds like a
fold?
poker. That sounds more like a
Oh,
poker
yeah.
term.
You fold. That's like,
You
that
fold it.
is,
Wait to see who folds.
yeah.
Oh, I've got.
Unbearable. You've got unbearable. I'm going to attempt to be bearable. That's no, I'm
Mhm.
usually unbearable. So anyway, I'm going to work on some more unwords. I'll get back to you folks. Unkempt though was the one that got me started.
Yeah, I've never. I wonder if kempt is a word on its own. I'm guessing it must be, but it just seems weird.
Yeah,
It's
true.
interesting.
All right.
English is weird.
Alex, topic of the week. So you are going to the beach,
The
which is
beach.
what you folks say up there. Uh, I, because I'm very tan, you can see, and I'm very dark complected, I often go to the beach. So let me
Mhm.
tell you something. No, we're going to talk about beach etiquette. So get your
Okay.
brain thinking about beach etiquette. But when we moved to South Florida, people are like, "Oh, why'd you move down here?" And blah blah. Oh, job, this stuff. But we love the beach,
Mhm.
and so we would say one of the reasons we moved down here is to be able to go to the beach. I don't like sitting at the beach, but I'm happy to walk up and down it. I like shore fishing. Natalie likes to sit in the sun and read and look for sea glass. So we love the beach. And people go, "Oh," and it's very common down here. You'll say, "We came here for the beach." And they're like, "Oh, we've lived here 15 years and
We never go to the beach.
we've been
Yeah.
to the beach 3 times." Not us. We have
Mhm.
purposed that if we're going to live here for however long, as long as we're going to live here, we're going to the beach. So easily once a month, we go to the beach, even if it's just Friday, the Friday after work. We
Yeah.
grab Chipotle and go sit. It's not always to show off my guns and, to look like the beach. What do you call that? What are the beach guys called? The beach bod. I don't always go to show off my beach bod. Sometimes I keep my shirt on, and we just sit and eat Chipotle and watch the
Hmm.
wave at night. The waves are usually pretty calm. Sometimes you go early in the morning for the sunrise and look for sea
Hmm.
glass and watch the fish jump. So we have purpose to go to the beach. With that comes some challenges, and I
Okay.
would like to discuss for the world and you and Ben. I want to help you guys out. We need to discuss beach etiquette. So, what are some things that pop to your mind when you're discussing beach etiquette?
I think how close people get to me
Oh,
on the beach.
number one on the list.
So, I mean, down where you live, it's normal for it to get pretty crowded.
We have our beach, Ocean Ridge, which we love, very narrow.
Mhm. Yes.
It's very narrow. Lots of beach this way, but you you're never more than 50 feet easily, 50 feet from the ocean.
Yeah, we went to, I think the first beach that shocked me was, I guess the was we went to Charleston, South Carolina. Was it Charleston? Yeah, I think it was Charleston. And the depth of the beach, I had to walk a solid, I was on the beach, on the sand, flat, like at some point the tide had come in that day as far as where my chair was because it was all flat and packed.
Yeah.
And then I had to walk a solid minute. I'm bad at gauging distances, but I probably walked a solid minute before I got to the water. The depth, and I know it's probably a certain time of day, certain
Yeah,
time
but
of
still.
year. I think we went in like it was late September, early October, somewhere in there. And but the depth, there was nobody near us,
Hmm.
literally nobody. It was bizarre because I'm just not used to that, and I loved that. And we've had that experience at Hilton Head also. Hilton Head not as much. Charleston,
Daytona Beach, they drive on the beach. That's massive.
yeah.
You go out and drive. There's like a road.
Yeah, I think Ben said you can drive on the sand in St. Augustine, but I
Mhm.
haven't been, so I don't know. But yeah, so I think I kind of like the beaches I've been to more recently better than the ones down in South Florida, just because there's so much room. Because I don't want to. I love people watching, but I don't want to watch people too close to me. You know?
So last Saturday, 2 Saturdays ago, we were there early in the morning, and three ladies, Lord love them. I mean, there wasn't many people there. It was still pretty early in the morning. They came, and oh, it drives me crazy. It was probably 12 feet, and there's one other couple that is pretty much there when we're there almost every time, and sometimes they sit near us, but they're silent.
Right, just like you guys are.
Yeah, they just sit and they're quiet. They were yakking and talking and eating potato chips. And I mean, just talk, 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 talk. And they were 10 feet away. If beach etiquette, you can sit somewhat close to me, but there is then a noise barrier that should be adhered to.
Yeah.
Go, if you're going to yak the whole time, just go a little farther down. Or I have gotten up and moved, and that's just passive aggressive. I shouldn't do that. But yeah, okay. So being too close to somebody and being loud
Hmm.
is one.
Well, then I want to know how you feel about music, like people playing
Yeah,
music out loud at the beach. Because I've had good experiences where I'm like, I could have picked this playlist myself. Like,
yeah,
this is just, and everyone around is enjoying it. And then there are other times when you're like, who's gonna tell this guy to turn it off? Like,
yeah.
who's gonna be the one? And you can tell everybody's uncomfortable with it. Everybody's annoyed. So where do you fall on that?
Well, you shouldn't have it at all. That's what they make headphones for, probably.
Okay.
But there's one old guy who sits at our beach and he puts two American flags in front of him and two behind him, kind of marking out his space. He sits in his chair. He's got a chair with a thing, an envelope. No, not an envelope,
Umbrella thingy.
umbrella over it. And he's got music, but it's matches his flag. It's Bob Seger. It's
You
Nitty
love
Gritty
Bob
Dirt
Seger.
Band. Yeah, it's kind of patriotic Americana.
Right.
And it's not too loud, but you can hear it. The ones
Okay.
that bother me are the ones who have full blown parties with a big Bluetooth
Yeah.
giant boombox that just blows everybody away 20 yards on each side. That feels like a much. Have your party and then come down to the beach and maybe not have the music.
Yeah.
I get a little bit of music. Sometimes mom and I we have a little JBL Bluetooth.
Mhm.
We put it in the back of our chair. The only two people who can hear it is us. In fact, we can hardly hear it, but it's
Yeah.
nice to have a little something. You should, I guess you can have some music, but man, just be respectful with it.
Right.
And of course, pick the right music.
The
Pick
room.
music I like. That's the most important part.
Right.
All right. I have one that many people probably aren't bothered by, but I am. It drives me crazy when people upwind from me put on spray sunscreen.
No,
The
yeah.
smell, I don't like the smell of sunscreen. I try not to wear it, as you can tell, my golden
Yeah.
brown head.
I
But
think I get that from you.
yes, I do not like sunscreen. I don't like the stickiness of it, and I don't like the smell. So when they're spraying it all over themselves and the wind's blowing down, and I can just feel it coating one side of my body from the wind, and I can smell it. So you should only have rub on sunscreen, and you should be downwind from me whenever you do that. That would be beach etiquette. So sunscreen, spray on sunscreeners bothers me.
Yeah, I think I just bought new sunscreen because Ben comes from a family that is religious about sunscreen. One of his uncles is a dermatologist, and
Oh,
so
boy.
they are just like religious about sunscreen. And his family, it's funny because Ben's half Puerto Rican.
Dark
His
complexion.
skin should be able to handle the sun way better than mine, and it probably can, but he never exposes it to the sun.
Right.
Like, it's always sunscreen, and his family goes, for the most part, goes to the beach in long sleeve shirts. Which
Well, I do too, but
I used to think that was crazy. Like, I could not comprehend that. And he'll wear it almost the full time unless he's in the water. Now I've started bringing one to wear for after I've already gotten sunburn and I need to inevitably cover my sunburned skin. But yeah, his family, like, he just does not let his skin see the sun. So he's gotten on me about sunscreen. I've gotten a little better. So I just bought some new stuff. I don't remember if it's spray or not.
Well, throw it away if it's spray. Just don't even take it. I wear a long sleeve too. It actually keeps me cooler.
Yeah, it's grown on me. I'll probably take one for this trip. I really do. I used to be like, why would you do that? I think I get it from mom where she is like, give me every ray of sunlight. Like, she just wants to soak it up, and her skin does soak it up. It doesn't reject it like my skin does. I got her attitude about the sun, but not the
skin tone. Yeah.
Not the skin tone that
the
she
resistance
has.
to it. So speaking of shade, we need to talk about shade. So we use a screw-in umbrella. You screw that little bugger in there, Tommy Bahamas, and you put it in. You can tilt it. It takes me 2 minutes. And you know how much shade it provides? Just enough for me or mom, which she never sits in the shade.
Yeah.
For me or maybe someone else, my dad were to go, 2 people can sit underneath it. It takes 2 minutes. It's not very big. It's colorful. That's the appropriate one. Now I'm seeing these chair, like I said, you got the chair and you have a pop-up shade. That's not a bad idea. I think that's, you know why that's for people to be on their phones.
Yeah.
So
Or
they can
really,
get enough.
sometimes reading a book is hard.
Or reading a book, being blinded by the page. So those are pretty cool. I could see getting one of those. There's 2 that drive me crazy.
Okay.
The worst one, and just because I think it's a bad idea, you're going to roast, at least in South Florida, is the tent shade, where you build a tent or you put a tent up and it's 3-sided. And then there's an opening and you should put the opening towards the ocean. And then it's got a little canvas out so you don't get sand in it. I'm sure it's for babies, but every one of those, when I look at those, the people sitting inside are melting. It is so hot. I don't know how they can do it. That just doesn't seem good. That one's not an etiquette thing. I just don't think it's a good idea. The etiquette one is this thing right here, Alex.
Oh, I've seen those.
You put 2 poles in the ground.
Mm-hmm.
You take
it's like a arch.
It's like 8 feet long and it's an arc and it just flaps in the wind. And in the back, some of them, you have these 2 bags and you fill them with sand and then you tie them off on the sand. I mean, it's like a 35-minute ordeal. And if the wind's not right, or if you don't set it up right, it doesn't work. And it casts, the only shade it casts is to the people next to it. It never keeps the people who built it
Well,
shaded.
and it
And
moves.
they,
When the sun moves,
well,
it
the sun moves.
changes
It is so
so
different.
much.
Then you have to undo the sand, and then you have to move it. Those things are the worst. They're flapping. They're a visual nuisance. They're an
Hmm.
auditorial. I don't think that's a word.
Oh,
An
that's
auditory nuisance. It takes up, two people will be using it, and it takes up 30 feet of beach. And down here, as we've already stated, it is very important that it's very important that you stay in your space because there's not a lot of.
yeah. I am the type of person I like going to the beach. I like it more and more the older I get, and I'm more like mom, where I like to sit and do nothing. Like I'll walk for a little bit. I love to find shells or different things and take pictures. I love to take my camera. I love sitting and reading a book or
Yeah.
people watching. I'm happy to sit.
Yeah.
Ben is not like that. One time I took a 4 hour nap on the beach accidentally. I woke up with sand in my mouth and a horrible sunburn. I think I sent y'all a picture. I had a t-shirt
Mm-hmm.
over my face, but only over this part of my face. And I had like a red,
Uh-huh.
yeah,
It'll be
that was
weird.
not fun. But I'm the type that wants to do nothing. And while I was taking a 4 hour nap one time, Ben like played catch with some strangers because he always brings his baseball. He brings his baseball glove and a baseball. He went for like a 2 mile run. He broke out our inflatable paddleboarded like up and down the beach and back. He does all the things. And I like to do some of those things, but not all of them. And I love the beach. I don't love the sand. And I don't like to take a ton of stuff with because it's
Yeah,
just so
me
much
too.
work.
No
And some
food.
bring like well, I need a
Yep.
snack, but like
Coolers.
people bring like coolers and wagons and these tents and the three different types of chairs and people with kids. I mean, they got to prepare,
Yep.
which I'm going to have to get over this eventually. But I just like minimal. Like Ben wants to bring the inflatable paddleboard, and I'm like, but that's so heavy. And then you got to set it up, and that takes forever. And then you got to, put it back in the bag. And it's just not, you've seen it. It's really cool, but it's not the most simple process.
Yeah.
And if I'm going to go to the beach, I want to relax and I want to have zero stressors. And the more stuff you bring and the more you have to construct stresses me out more. So,
Those are the people who don't go very often. So they're going to go for the whole day.
yeah.
Mom and I have it perfect. We go for three hours, and
Hmm.
four tops. I would rather jog home and let mom stay. We go so often that we just take the minimum, just the
Hmm.
minimum, maybe a bag of chips. At night, we would do the Chipotle thing, but you're eating it right away. You're not letting it sit there in the sand and then pull it out and gnaw on some granules for 2 hours. Here's one thing: there are no restrictions. There's no etiquette for kids. The beach is for kids. I have all the grace in the world for yelling kids,
Hmm.
for ones whose ball comes flying into my area. Now I'm going to chuck it back at them as hard as I can because I
Yeah.
want them to know that I'm still an athlete. Kids 10 and under, no rules. They can do whatever they want. And it annoys me when people are annoyed by kids. It's like, don't come to the beach during when kids can be there. That drives me crazy. I think kids should be allowed, if they're chucking sand in the air, I'll move when I'm walking. I'll go around them. I'm not
Hmm.
going to stop them. Now, when they dig a hole that a human can fall in and I'm not paying attention and I fall into their hole, that's an issue. I ask
Hmm.
for their help to help me get out. But other than that, there are no rules for kids. And etiquette is everybody else should let kids be kids
Hmm.
at the beach. Now, that's 10 and under. Above that, there needs to be some introduction of etiquette for teenagers. But the
Yeah.
little kids, man, have fun, go crazy.
Yeah, but that's always fun to see. I think one difference between being a local at the beach and being a tourist at the beach is before we lived in South Florida, I always thought you wore your swimsuit to the beach. Like I could not
Mhm.
fathom ever going there not in your swimsuit because the purpose is to
Right.
go in the water. And then
That's right.
you live near the beach and you go for walks after you go out to dinner at a restaurant. Like
Right.
most of mine and Ben's dates when we were dating, we'd go to dinner, or sometimes it would even be like later than dinner because he would work late. It's like, what do you want to do? Do you want to go walk on the beach? And we just go walk. And I'm in like jeans on the beach. And that blew my mind that
Mhm.
that was socially acceptable because you just think the beach is for swimming. what is your favorite, or what do you think is the best time to go to the beach? Because I know we've done.
Sunrise on this side. So your mom and I did a sunrise set. That's awesome. So we watched a sunset on the East Coast, went home, had breakfast. Actually, we
Watch
went
the
out.
sunrise on the East Coast.
Yeah, sorry. We watched the sunrise on the East Coast, came home, had a little breakfast, drove across to the Sanibel Island side. I think that's where it was, Sanibel Island. Took our time. We had all day because that's how it works. The sun slowly goes across the sky, and we watched a sunset on the West Coast. But for me, sunrise is my favorite. It's not too hot. There aren't too many people. The waves and the wind typically, I don't like going in July. The wind just howls. I mean, it just,
Yeah.
man, it's so windy. So sunrise is absolutely my favorite. Even if it's a little chilly, wear a sweatshirt, throw your hood on, and start walking. I love it.
We had a tradition. Y'all probably still do it, but Christmas morning,
Mm-hmm.
we would all go, or any vacation. We did Christmas for a while, but then any vacation, anytime we went down there on vacation, we always did one sunrise at the beach. And
Yep.
I
I
always
took my
liked that.
dad last week. We got up, maybe not. Well, it was pretty close to sunrise. We got up and walked the
Yeah.
beach in the morning. So that's
Yeah.
my favorite, no doubt. How about you? What's your favorite time?
I do like sunrise because I have good memories of that. And then it's nice because it can, there were times we did stay there until
Sure.
it warmed up and you can go in the water. And,
Yeah.
but I don't know. I really like night at the beach. I think it's fun. It's just different. And it feels a little more quiet and peaceful. There's usually not a lot of people there. A little creepy because the water just looks black. Like you don't want to go in I have night swim in the ocean.
Especially if you've seen Jaws. You gotta be
Yeah,
careful.
yeah. But I don't know. Middle of the day is not it for me. If so, let's say Saturday morning, if that's our beach day on our vacation, I probably want to get down there by like 8 a.m. and I'm probably good to go in around 1 or 2. Like
Mhm.
that's when
Yep.
I
Just
want to
get
get there
worn out.
earlier. And like, yeah, I feel like noon to like 3, 4 is when it gets crazy. So I don't like to be there for that part that much. But
There's
yeah, it'll be
one.
interesting to see.
Go ahead. Yeah.
No, that
Be
was it.
interesting to what?
Oh, just interesting to see. We're gonna be like our hotel's on the water.
Nice.
So that's always nice. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how many people there are, and it always helps when you're on like a private beach. But
We're 15 minutes from the beach, not even in the morning. So you can't go and come back and go again.
mm-hmm.
But if my hotel, I would get up for sunrise,
Mm-hmm.
go back and eat the free breakfast at the hotel, go out till 11 or 12, come back in, take a nap, watch a ball game, go back out. That would be fun. I could
Yeah,
break a day up like
yeah.
that. That would be good. There's one time out of the year that's unusual that most people wouldn't think of, but like 2 in the morning when the baby turtles are going out to
Have you
sea.
done that?
We have, but we've not seen any. We've watched, so we watched one female turtle come up to the beach, but
Mm-hmm.
she didn't lay. She came up, changed her mind, and turned around and went back. So we've been there to see them come and lay their eggs and really haven't seen much. And then another great time of year is to try and find them when the babies are going out. We've done it, but have not had success.
Okay.
That would be a favorite, especially if I would see some turtles. That'd be a top 5 beach moment.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, any wildlife on the beach is just my favorite. Like, I
Mhm.
love going and looking for that. I'm not looking for shells. I could really care less about shells.
Yeah,
But are you talking about sandpipers?
we like the little sandpipers, the
Yeah.
tiny ones. They're our favorite.
Yeah, anything wildlife. I don't love the birds, which we should talk about the birds, but anything else, any little sea creatures, I love it. That's why when we went to, I didn't even think of this, but we went to the Pacific Northwest last summer, and those beaches are just completely different. Like you don't wear your swimsuit to those beaches. Like you just don't. You wear your hiking clothes, and but they have so many tide pools and interesting rock formations. It's just so different than a Florida sandy beach, but so cool in its own way, and saw so much wildlife. And we saw puffins in
Right.
Oregon, and I loved the tide pools. So in some ways I love that just as much. It's not as relaxing, but I got to see so many cool things. So I love that.
That wildlife is better than the wildlife or the domesticated life we see on our beach, which could be a etiquette. Keep your dog on a leash. We don't need your dog nosing us while we're walking on the beach. Most
Or when they
people are pretty
drink
respectful.
the
Some
ocean
people
water all
just
over you.
let their dogs run willy-nilly, and it's not cool.
Yeah, we did. There is one dog beach in
That's fine. In
that
Boca, down in Boca, there's one.
I forgot
Yeah.
which beach it
Every
was.
Saturday, it's wide open. Bring your dog. That's awesome. No problem.
That
But
yes, because it's supposed to be there, and those are the people that bring their dogs to
they know
that.
what they're
Those
doing.
dogs know how to be
Yeah. It's
at the
so
beach and
fun to
happy
watch.
around other dogs. And that we went there a couple times. That was so fun
Yeah.
to see all that and like be with all the dogs because we're all big dog people. But yeah, otherwise, don't
Rando
really
dogs, not a
dog.
good idea. Don't do it.
Have you ever biked on the beach?
No, because
Okay.
ours would. Well, people do. I guess people do, but I would only bicycle on Daytona Beach or somewhere where it's
Oh, okay.
really
Yeah.
wide.
Yeah. We did it in Hilton Head.
Hmm.
And, I'm not a big bicyclist.
Yeah. Now, if you go down, so what? It doesn't
Yeah.
hurt. That's the
Yeah.
best part.
Thankfully I didn't, but it was really cool. It's weird because it's hot and humid and, you can't just hop in the water.
Hmm.
It was interesting, but it was a cool experience. I'm glad I did it. I'm not very good at turning. So long story short, for those that don't know, I didn't really learn how to ride a bike till I was 12.
Hmm.
I'm not saying it's anyone's fault, but normally a dad teaches.
You would think.
It was my fault. You taught all my siblings how to ride a bike. I didn't want to learn how to ride a bike.
Yeah.
So you actually just bought me a bike and made me do it when I was 12. And we biked a ton that summer. And then we moved to the farm after like the next summer.
Mm.
And
There's nowhere to
you
ride.
can't ride a bike. And my bike sat in the barn for forever. And then I married Ben, who loves biking. And he bought me like a used bike. And so we could bike together. And he like re-taught me. And so I've
Mhm.
been slowly relearning, but I maybe ride my bike 3 times a year and that's it.
Yeah.
But he always wants to bring them on vacation. And so we took it to Hilton Head, and I'm still really bad at turning. But what's nice on the beach, as long as there aren't people in the way, you can take
Yeah,
a
wide.
nice
Yep.
wide turn. There is nothing to hit. So that
Like
was
a
nice.
747 turning around up there.
Yeah. I mean, that's pretty much what I look like because I still try to lean to turn, and you're not supposed to, you got to do this, but I'm really
Keep
scared of falling.
pedaling.
So
Yeah.
but yeah. Last etiquette thing that I thought of, feeding the birds.
Yeah. I'm torn. Because I don't care. Doesn't bother me necessarily, but you're not supposed to do it. So because of that, because I'm a rule follower, that bothers me. I don't care if birds are flying overhead, but I know you do. You definitely don't like
I
the bird.
am hyper aware of
Hmm.
where every bird is and if it's looking at me weird and how comfortable it seems around humans. It's a little
Yeah.
stressful. Some beaches you don't have that problem as much, and then some. I will say, up the further north you go, it's not as bad.
Yeah.
It's a little worse further south, but yeah.
I'm bothered more by people feeding birds at Disney World. That drives me crazy because there's so much food around
Yes.
and you're sitting down to eat and you're at Casey's and people are throwing fries to birds and birds are like under your foot
Yeah.
and you're trying to enjoy a meal. I don't like that. The beach doesn't bother me as much. Number one, you shouldn't have food at all at the beach. That's a whole other point. So, all right. Well, that's good. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful break from school, from recruiting, from all the things that are going on in your world, and that it's a wonderful time for you. So enjoy, rest,
I will.
take care of baby G. Take care of baby G, yo. Make sure you unwind. And then when you get back, you can wind.
I can wind.
Yeah. But
I almost said rewind, but that's a totally different meaning.
yeah. Rewind is after it's been winded. What? After you wind, you rewind. No, you're going to unwind. And then I want you to wind when you get back for the big finish of the school year. All right.
All right.
So let's make separating the unwords and making them normalized. And
Yeah,
I
I'm
think
going to be
that'd be
thinking
helpful.
about that now.
Yeah. There's a lot of good ones out there. Of course, I come up with the idea and then actually don't do any research whatsoever to prepare. So, welcome to a very professional, high end podcast where Alex and I get to talk just about every week because we love one another and we're far away. And this is a great way to do it. So, thanks for joining the Please Don't Call Me podcast. I don't know if you saw my intentional. You see my intentional drop of
Product
a
placement.
product. I would love for us to be sponsored by Dr. Pepper with zero sugar. It's my new favorite. I probably won't sleep tonight because it's 7 p.m. and I drank one. So I'll get to watch the late game. The Dodgers will be on, I'm sure. So I'll get to watch that tonight because I won't be sleeping. But Alex, have a great vacation. Look so forward to talking to you and getting pictures. Send us some beach pictures, especially if you have some etiquette issues. Let's get them in the chat.
I'll be the beach etiquette police.
That would be wonderful, especially if you see those big shady things that are flapping in the air. Drives me crazy. All right, everybody, have a great week. Thanks for joining the Please Don't Call Me podcast. Bye-bye.